Okay, in this video we are going to talk about kernel exploit. If you are new to cybersecurity or Linux, you might be wondering what is Linux exploit and why does it even matter. So don't worry about that, we are going to break it down step by step. First of all, I'm gonna do the theoretical part and then we will move to the practical part. And the platform we are going to use is TryHackMe. Okay, TryHackMe is basically a cybersecurity learning platform. What I'm gonna do is I will use one of their machine. Okay, they actually have vulnerable machine on there for this room, so I'm gonna use it to find the kernel exploit and then we will apply that. In introduction we have kernel exploit. Kernel, basically you can think of it like a middleman that help us talk between the hardware and the application, and it operates at ring 0. I don't know what this means, but kind of it means like it has root privileges, and if we can somehow break the kernel, exploit the kernel, we will get the root access. Okay, these are the key points we need to keep in mind when when executing the kernel exploit, because as I said, kernel has root access. Another thing is if you apply the wrong kernel exploit, it might crash the system. And the last thing is successful kernel exploit depends on the exact kernel version matching. We will come across this in a moment because this is very important, and I actually covered the kernel exploit and the stuff in another separate video. You can go and check on my channel as well. Now this is like some other stuff, we will come to this one. When doing the kernel exploit, we need to understand the vulnerability first of all, if not deeply, but we need to understand a little bit. Okay, another point is we need to verify the target is actually vulnerable to that actual exploit. So if I scroll a little bit, you can see this is a table like a kind of methodology where it says, first of all, identify kernel version and the architecture of the compromised machine or the target machine. First of all, we are doing the theory and then I will move to this machine and we will do the practical. So first step is to identify kernel version and architecture. Once we identify these, we will move to the second step, which is search and find the exploit code for that specific version of the Linux. The next step we have is the compile exploit. Once we find out some vulnerability, we will then get the code from that database. Once we get the code, we need to compile that, but before compiling we need to match the exact architecture type of the target machine. So there is like 64-bit architecture, 32-bit architecture, and for the Mac operating system they use the ARM chip, so it's a bit different than the AMD ones. But simply what I mean is that if a system is 32-bit and you are trying to compile the exploit with 64-bit, it actually won't run and instead it might crash the system. So make sure to match the exact architecture. And the first step is execute and validate that it works. So let's move a bit. So these are some other point. This one we have already discussed, and this one is we need to exactly match the kernel level. If the exploit is for some other version of the kernel version, it won't work. Okay, we need to actually look at the version that if it matches, it will work, otherwise it will crash the system. And the second thing is, as I said over here, we need to understand we need to understand a little bit the exploit. If we don't understand, we can just go to the AI and ask from it, and this is one I just told you. And the first step is like, what will happen after you run the exploit? What will happen? You make sure you know the full impact of that. So if you are doing pen testing for some real organization, you need to understand the impact and make sure they allow you to do so as well. So here it's come the practical part. So first of all, we need to type this command to find out. Actually, we need to find information about what Linux distribution it is and what is its version is. Distribution, it could be from the distribution, it could be like Ubuntu, Kali, or like Parrot operating system or some other. So we need to find that what's the Linux distribution and its version. I'm gonna type cat and etc and issue. So it's Ubuntu and this is its version. Okay, and if I scroll a bit, we got that we have the Ubuntu distribution and its version is this specifically. And why this is important, like finding about the Linux distribution is Linux distribution, that different distribution like Ubuntu, Kali, they might have their specific patches. Like let's say there is specific vulnerability in some kernel. What Kali or Ubuntu will do is they will fix the vulnerability, and then when you try to use that vulnerability to exploit the kernel, it won't work if the pages or the vulnerability is fixed. Now we can just move simply. I think these are some other commands that give us information about the distribution and the version. So I already used one. Let me copy this and go here and use this now. Okay, perfect. This is like a short explanation, and this gives us a bit more detail about the machine. Now we know about the Linux distribution and its version. We need to find out the kernel version specifically. So for that we need to type the uname -r. This will give us the kernel version. So I'm just gonna go here and type uname -r. So we got this version, this 3.13.0-24 generic. So this is the same thing, but kind of the version differentiate, but I will explain what this means over here. The 4 first of all mean kernel major version. So 4 time major development is done on this kernel, so that's why I think it shows 4, and here it says 3. So here it the 3 times. This means that this kernel is 3 times updated. Majorly they updated or added some feature and fixed that. So this one simply show major like some major development. This one show minor like small stuff, and this one show how many times this specific version has been updated and fixed the patches. If you see over here, it just means they have not patched anything in this version, kernel version. Like for example, if you see application, they will have like it's version something like version 1.1 or something, because it just means they have patched some vulnerability in that. So that's why they put 1 over here. So this is the example that I was talking about, this specific kernel version, and this one you can see this is the patches has been fixed 21 times and here 116 times. So let's say there is exploit that does something or like exploit the kernel. It will, for example, it will be used for the specific version, but since they have applied the patches, it won't actually work on this one now. Okay, now we have the kernel version, the Linux distribution and its version. Now we need to find the architecture. So to find architecture, is it 32-bit or 64-bit, we need to type arc or uname -m. So we'll go with both uname -m. This is 64-bit architecture. The system has 64-bit architecture. Now let me type arc. Keyboard gives the same result, x86-64. So it is a 64-bit architecture. We got this specific one, which means that you see this only when there is Intel or AMD chip included, and there is one more chip like the ARM chip that this is being used in the Apple devices since 2020. It is like battery reliable. It makes the devices to have the battery for a bit more longer time. So you will see ARM chips and kind of like this 32 ARM v71. So the main point over here is that I already told you that an exploit that is that a 64-bit exploit won't actually run on the 32-bit kernel. So you need to make sure it matches. Now let's move a bit. This is like the script that just do all of this stuff. Like first of all, get the Linux distribution and its version. This gets the Linux kernel version and this get the architecture. Let me copy this and see what we gonna get, since we already got all of these. So we got all of the information. We can kind of make a small file or table so we can know all of the information about the kernel and its distribution and the architecture. software, so we know better. So here I have already put this in this table. I hope you can see that it's kind of a bit light, but so this is the machine name, this is its IP, and this is its distribution with this version, and this is its kernel version, and this is its architecture type, and this is, I don't know, something else. And the user is, we have not checked the user, so for that UID, okay, UID, yep. So our UID is this and our name is this, okay. So we actually don't have any sudo permission, we are a low privilege guy. So this is the full information that we have got so far. It's time to try to find out for the vulnerability of this specific kernel version. So there is a tool in the Linux, or in the Kali Linux, called searchsploit. And what this searchsploit is, it's a local database of the exploit, database exploit. It's basically from the website. I will also show you that they have got the exploit from there and store it locally, but it's not like up to date. So like for example, if I copy this and paste it over here, I'm just gonna type searchsploit. Okay, it does not have the searchsploit tool. So instead what I will do is, normally it is present in the Sky Linux machines and different like Parrot Ubuntu, but right now we don't have. So I'm just gonna go to some website that we can check on. So you already know the kernel version and all of the information. What we can do is, like for example, this is all of the information that we gathered so far. Now I can just go to Google or this cvedetails.com. Let me go to this and type this, and I think we got something. This is one website. This just have the exploit. This is exploit database. I can open this, and then we have the GitHub as well and some more as well. Here we have this one. So this is the specific exploit that we got. So I think this exploit exactly matches, cause look at this version, kernel version, and this Ubuntu. We got the exact same Ubuntu version. So this might actually work. Now I don't know what this exploit is and how it does work, but I can say that we found an exploit that actually will work, because we have matched the kernel version and our distribution version. Okay, so remember this one, and if I go over here to my notes, and you can see the third option we have is, first one was the search exploit, second was to go to Google and manually search it, and third is there is a tool called Linux Exploit Suggester. This is on GitHub. You can download it and use it. It will, I think, auto suggest the exploit for you if there is any. So in the cons you can see it says that report exploit that don't actually work, misses some valid exploit. So it's a bit not very reliable. So I think the manual method is a much better than this one. I don't know, it's up to you, but we have three methods. Okay, now we have selected this exploit. The best criteria to select the exploit is matches exact kernel version. Yep, it does match our exact kernel version, you can see. And right now we don't understand, but we can try to understand it, and it was covered in multiple sources. Okay, so these are like some example that I'm gonna skip for now. There are so many things in these notes, ignore that. Okay, but we got the system information. We then go to Google, we found out the exploit, and now it's important to understand a little bit, because you need to know what does the exploit do, what's the impact, and what it could do. So it is important to understand the exploit. Once we understand this, we can then simply go to the compilation phase, and where we will compile the code with the exact architecture type that the machine has. Right now I'm gonna copy this in front of you, and I will copy this and go to one of the AI and ask for what this is and what it does. Okay, so I'm gonna copy these exact two questions, and if I go to my cloud, this is where I passed it the exploit, and I will explain in simple terms, so you know it's a bit better to understand it. Let's give cloud a bit time so it does the thinking and all of this stuff, because I have enabled the extended with enable the thinking mode. So the impact we can see, but I don't know what the exploit is, because I have asked the cloud again to explain me, but we can see the impact. It will give us instead instant root access. We don't actually need any credential. These are the affected version specifically. Oh, so perfect. So the thing is, what it does is the exploit read and write kernel memory that it should not be able to access. And what this does, this exploit does, it go to that specific memory and where it store the user led information, the user ID, and this exploit go there and changes it from a regular user to the root user, and thus it gives us the root privilege. Perfect, bro, perfect. We understand it now, and we can just simply skip these. So now it just say that you got the code, we got this code, and what you gonna do is either compile it on your own machine and transfer it to the target machine, or either if the target machine has the compiler, okay, you can just compile it over there. So we got some method, the HTTP enabling the HTTP server or the wget to download it on the target machine. So the best method I think we have that will work is this option B, because we have this machine and I will actually open the Kali Linux as well, so we will have both the attacker machine and the target machine. So I'm gonna go with this method. Okay, now I can just move to my Kali Linux where I will compile the code and then move to the machine where we will use the exploit. So it just says how you can connect to your machine and stuff, but I'm not gonna tell you this. To check if the compiler is installed on the your target machine, no, actually your attacker machine, I mean on the target machine. Yep. So you will see if the compiler is installed on the target machine or no. If yes, it is very best, and you can just simply go there and easily compile that, because it is a best way to use the library and different stuff. Right now I'm just gonna go with this. We have this machine, and let me open the terminal and find out if I have installed the compiler or not. So which GCC version. Perfect, we have the this is the version and we have the compiler on this machine. Now what I can do is we need to copy code and store it in this specific file, and then we will use the compiler to compile it with. So I'm gonna copy this. I think it's already copied. Make sure it is copied. Yep. Now I can just go here, not here actually, but here. Let me type echo and then this specific code. Okay, it is kind of slow, so we will wait for this a bit. All I did is I type the echo and then the code and then press the control V. So I wanted to paste the code over here. I think we are done. Do we have this thing here or no? Yep, we don't have actually. Okay, I think we are done now. I can just simply, okay, I think this one method is a bit hard, so I will type the nano and then the, let's give it any name, abc, and it will create the file. And now I can paste the code over here. We are good now, and let me save it. Perfect. Now if I type the cat abc, we got the exploit code, and now we need to compile that. So gcc the file name and then output as this, or we can output as anything, but I will just type the cve. So we are here gcc the abc file. Wait, we need to give it the C extension. Rename, is this the command that, okay, I don't know how to rename the file, so I will delete this, create another one, abc.c, and then paste the code again. Not this, bro. Let me copy again from here and I will paste, and let me save it now. Perfect. Now I will type gcc abc.c and then I will set the output file name -o, and I will just type the cve. I think we done that, not sure, but I think I did not mention the architecture type. It auto set the architecture type. I really don't know, but because I don't know how to use this compiler, but if it has any mistake I will make sure to fix that. So we have now the file, and now we can, what we gonna do is send the file to the target machine. So I told you we're gonna use this specific method, this one. Yep, we're gonna start the server over here on this. Okay, first I need to get the machine IP. So if config, bro, this machine is very slow. Okay, well, so our IP is this 127.0.0.1. Let me start the Python server over here on this port 8000, and now I can move here, and to download this we gonna go with this. So we are here. Let me fix the command. Since the file name is just cve, this tool just help us to download stuff from the internet. So I'm gonna use this. This is the HTTP. This is here. I will specify the attacker IP, which was 127.0.0.1. I hope it works. Bro, what? Or rather, I will use the another IP. Yep, this IP right here. So let me just fix the command here. It is the IP 10.49.105.122. Now we can go here to the target machine again. So I'm gonna download that file from my attacker machine by typing the wget http/ and the IP is this, and then our port was 8000, and then the file name is cve, and I will store it here with the output name cvee. Actually the name of it's evv, not cvv. EVV. Yep. And then I will store it with the name of CVE. Okay, so I was trying to download that compiled file. As you already saw that I was talking about that. This is the voiceover I am adding while editing, because I did some messed up with things, because I don't know what is going on. I was trying to download the compile file in the current directory that you can see right here on the screen. So the problem was it was not allowing me to download it in the current directory. So I went to Cloud. Actually I took the screenshot of the error that I was getting, because so I went to Cloud, and Cloud told me that you cannot actually install the file on the current directory. This is right now you see over here on the screen is like the very upcoming, the next part I will explain. Wait 1 minute. So I went to Claude. He told me that you cannot download in the current directory. Try to download the file in the tmp directory, temp directory. So I tried that, and actually the file gets downloaded in that tmp directory. Okay, but the problem was I was trying to use the cd command which changed the directory to the temp directory. It was not working, and I don't know what went wrong. I really don't know. But then I again went to Claude, and he told me that you need to have the bash shell. So basically he told me to type the bash, so you will get the bash shell. Once you get the bash shell, it will let you to give you the normal terminal, the bash terminal. So once I typed that, I was able to move to the temp directory or any directory, and it also it made me able to download the compiled file anywhere I want. So I went to my attacker machine, compiled the code, and then I started the HTTP server, and then what I did is I just downloaded it on my target machine, and when I tried to run it, I realized that the exploit that I selected from the exploit database, remember that we searched the kernel version, and when we went to Google and found the exploit, it was actually for another kernel version, and for newer version, or for newer version of Ubuntu. It was not relevant to that current one that we are working with. So yep, I did waste a lot of time. Actually learned a lot that you need to be extra careful. And then I went to Google and found out the exact another exploit that will work with this. um, you will see the rest of the part in the coming. You will just watch the video, you will see what I'm going to do. Okay, the whole mess was I was actually using a wrong exploit. So right here you see, let me actually show you what I was doing. our target machine was running this specific Ubuntu and its kernel version, but the exploit we selected is this Ubuntu this version and kernel version this. So I did compile that, transfer it to the target machine, but it was not actually working. So that's the main problem, and I spent like an hour and it was not working. Kind of make me crazy, but thankfully I now found it out. That's why I'm saying you need to match the kernel version, the Linux and the architecture, so you don't go through all of this again. On this I went to Google or Bing and got this another exploit, and I did make sure now again to match the kernel version, which is 3.13.0, and we have that is 3.13.0. Kernel version matches this one, the 14 point, this version, and this one. So ours is this. So this thing and this thing now matches. Previously I just blindly searched for the exploit, and that's how I won't say it I wasted, but actually I learned that you need to be extra careful when finding the exploit. So we got this, and now what I need to do is I need to copy this, compile this, and transfer it to the target machine, or the target machine has already the compiler. So I have two options: either compile this exploit on the target machine or my attack machine, and then transfer it to the target machine. If I do it on my attacker machine, and then we will run this. Okay, perfect. Now I'm just gonna copy this, and I will just kind of compile this, and then we will move it to the target machine. Okay, so let me do this, and let's go here. Okay, we also need to understand this code because we need to know what this does and what's the impact. Previously we done this, but it was for totally different and wrong exploit. So first of all, I'm just gonna type test.c file, and we will store the code here. Perfect. And I'm gonna press Ctrl+X and then Y and then enter. So this is how you create a file, store things, and then save it. And now since we have the compiler, which is gcc, and the file name is test.c, and I want the output of as, I will just name it attack, the file name is attack. Okay, so output attack ATTS. Yep. And then I'm gonna add the static. This will like put the all of the dependency inside the, it's double T not single T. Maybe I should remove this, and then okay, there is some problem with the code. So what I'm gonna do is, let me take screenshot from here and share it over here with the cloud, so we can know what is wrong with this code. So I pasted this code in one of the file, and then try to compile it, but it kind of give me this error. I don't know, I am thinking this is some code specific error. What do you think? What is the error and what's the fix? Can you fix it? Those are just compiler error, not a warning, not error. The code is old. Okay, we need to add these headers, so it will be okay then. Okay, so I'm gonna go with nano and then test C, and then I'm gonna, I think I will pass these two header over here, and then I will just have it by pressing Ctrl+X and then Y. Okay, and then let's retry to compile it with the status flag, static flag, not status. I just kind of compile all of the dependencies, so when we transfer it to the target machine, it will actually run gcc, and the file name is test.c, and then we will output as attack, and then we're gonna use the static flag, static. Okay, perfect. I have recreated the code, the exploit code, because it had some error, so I asked Cloud to give me the correct version of that. So I copied this, I store it in the st.c file, and then now I compile it, and we got the compiled version without any error. If I type the ls, we have this guy right here, the compiled version. Now what I will do is, I'm just gonna start the HTTP server, and then I go here and download it here. So this is how you start the HTTP server. I'm just going with the 9000 port. You can go with any, but make sure the port you are mentioning here is not already being in use, otherwise it will cause some error. So now we started the HTTP server. I will go here and use the wget and http hyphen l slash slash, and the IP is 10.49.105.112 and port is this, and then the file name is attack. Yep, attack. And yep, we will just store it right here. Perfect. If I type ls, so we got the file attack. Now if I type again ls-la, we will see it does not have the execution permission. So to give it execute permission, we gonna type the chmod and then 777. This mean read, write, execute permission to root user, current user, and other user. To what file? To the attack file. Bro, it is attack. Yep. And if I type again this, we will be able to see we have successfully given. Yep. Now let me just type clear and run that. Perfect. You can see we have got the root access. I run this file and it just did something and gave us the root access. So let me rerun it. Okay, first of all I will type the ID so you know I am not a root user. You see right here my user ID is 1001 and my name is Karen. Okay, and now if I run this specific exploit for the kernel version, it will give me the root access. Let me press enter and see what we it can do. So if I type the id command, you can see I am a root user now and I can do everything I want. Now I have the full access. So this is how you do the kernel exploit. So we got the root access and now there is a specific file with the name flag.txt and we need to find that to complete this task. I'm going with the find command that will help us to find that specific file. Find slash, okay, this slash means just search on the root file and then the file name, which is we're gonna first type this and let's put it in the quotes txt, and then we need specifically this will just make the our output very clean and remove the error messages. Right now I am editing this video and this is voiceover. On top of that, I tried to use the find command, but the thing is, the problem is I used the incorrect file name. The actual name was flag1.txt and I was trying to search for flag.txt. I used that find command to search for the wrong file name and it gave me nothing, like zero result. And what I did next is since it was some other kind of shell, I typed the bash shell. You can see above. You can stop the video and look for the history, the terminal history. I typed the bash and I got the bash shell, and once I got the bash shell, there is a user with the name mat. So I moved to the home directory of the mat and there were the file name flag1.txt. I'm gonna end this voiceover right here and you can actually look for the actual recording. Okay, I got the bash shell. First of all, you can see I type the bash shell. Now I'm just gonna move to the mat guy and type the ls and see we got the flag right here. They already mentioned the file name. If I show you right here flag1.txt, I was actually searching the wrong file name. Okay, now if let me just type the cat flag1.txt and we got the flag. I'm just gonna copy this. Okay, it is not getting copied, so I'm just going to write it here dhm-283928727 29920 and let me paste it here. Perfect. And also this one. So we covered this one. I hope you like this video. If you have any kind of question, any kind, okay, just ask in the comments. I will make sure to answer you, and hopefully I will see you in any of the other video. I will decide what I am going with. So we got this one in this video, okay, and I will see what I will do next. If you like the video, please like the video, share with friends, and just watch the video yourself and do the practical as well. And I will see you in the next video. See you soon.